Wheels.
What's up, people?
Welcome to the show, Brian.
I'm happy to be
It's
here.
our second time because it is our second.
It is technically, which, she'll explain to you why.
Well, you know what? I do have some great B footage. It's low footage, but it's great B footage.
Yeah.
So you sound amazing. So if anything, I should give it to you, and you can you can cut me out because you sound amazing.
We
you
can
sound
piece certain things out and in.
Yes, you sound like you're on a radio show, talk show host.
That's right. That's what I was going for.
You sound all professional. I'm so Which last year when I was taping for my other podcast, that was one thing they kept telling me, stop whispering. Yeah. Because when I do that for dramatic effect, I like to go my voice way now.
Exactly.
But when I do that, people can't hear me. They're like, what are you saying? We were working on it. Turn it up so we can hear you. So I will not do that, but I do that for my students. I lower my voice. I, make it high, make it low, just for dramatic effects.
Right.
Welcome to the show, Brian.
Happy to be here.
What are you smoking on? That's how we like to start the show.
Okay. This is a good way to kick it off. This is the Camacho. It's the yellow label. I really haven't even gotten into like what the labels are.
So you have, this is a Connecticut.
That's a Connecticut,
it
right?
It says that somewhere on, I can't read it. I don't have my glasses on.
Right.
But that's the Camacho. What does that say? Corojo?
Corojo, right?
Oh, look at that.
Exactly. So I got two. So depending on where we take the conversation, I may just stop the yellow one and get to the red one, which is the help me. Help me.
Look at you. You really like those Camachos.
I love them. They owe me an endorsement. That's what they owe me.
You know what?
Absolutely.
Seriously. Because you smoke those Camachos like every day.
Yeah.
Someone here, we're taping at Elite Cigar Lounge in Addison. One of the managers gave me the stick that I'm smoking. It doesn't have a label on it. It's a Placencia. And I think he said he picked it up at one of the trade shows that they went to. So he gave me a few of them, and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to smoke the Placencia tonight. Okay. I think I'm in that kind of mood. And I've never had a bad Placencia. Who is that? Who's watching us over there?
So,
is that Lola?
That is Lala. Shout out to everybody that's watching us on Facebook Live. That would be Charity, Theo, Lala, Dr. Hope. We even got a doctor watching me.
You can read all that from over there?
I try to. That's carrots.
You have good eyes.
Absolutely. Over 40. No glasses.
No glasses.
Absolutely.
I can see an L in that L. I know I need glasses. Well, thank you for coming on the show again, Brian.
Thank you.
And I've been thinking about something that we talked about. We sit and talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yes, we do.
But I wanted to talk about one thing that we talked about last week.
Okay.
You brought it up about the DM. Remember that took the whole conversation? We shut the patio down with that.
Yes, we did. Yeah, but you shut everything down, though.
No.
You shut everything. That's not fair. That's not fair.
I shut it down.
But you walk in a room? That's all it takes?
No. This was your question that you posed. And let me tell the listeners. Brian proposed. He had this crazy idea, this crazy question about letting your potential, your not necessarily significant other, they're not a significant other yet,
not
right?
As of yet, right.
But they're thinking about it and letting them have access to your DMs. And when we brought this up on the patio,
everybody went crazy.
I went crazy. What?
Yeah.
Again, I said the same thing. You make fun of me, but my phone is unlocked. There's nothing on it. You just, but I wouldn't do that. Like, I wouldn't go through my phone, nor do I want to go through your phone. Like if me and you were dating, I wouldn't want to go through your phone, Brian.
Okay.
Like you could leave your phone right here. I wouldn't touch it.
That's saving grace.
I would.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I wouldn't even ask you, hey, Brian, can I see your text? I wouldn't ask you this. Why? I don't understand why someone would ask that. So you help me out with that next part. Because I don't get it.
Well, I think number one, I do think that this is something that is a very important conversation for people who are wanting to date, just to be able to navigate, right? Because yes, I get it. Mobile phones and cell phones and these iPads are very personal devices. They call them personal devices for a reason. But I do think that, let's say, for example, if something were to happen to you, I don't know where your accounts are. I don't know, asset-wise, your mother's phone number, family, anything can happen to you. So the conversation should stand that what is our technology policy? I actually got this
Oh,
conversation.
so you're saying, wait a minute, technology policy.
Yes.
Now, see, that's different than letting someone go in your DMs.
Well-
You're switching it up on me.
Well, I'm not switching it up now. Let me
Because see,
hold
now,
up. Hold up.
I can get with the technology policy. See, that makes logical sense.
I was gonna bring it back, Teresa.
Okay.
I was gonna bring it back.
Okay, bring it back. Bring it back.
So what I'm saying is that that conversation really is a buffer. And I'll tell you why it's a buffer for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think that if you give someone, right, or if you have the conversation to ask about a person's DMs, or can I see your DMs to decide if I want to move forward? Now, there is an expectation for transparency, but we know people are not going to give us that. So, it is an indication on if that person they have the character, maybe there's something in there that is questionable that they may not necessarily let you know because everybody's not going to tell you everything. So, depending on what you find out, you may or may not move the conversation forward. Okay, that's the first caveat. The second caveat is, let's say, for example, what you find in that phone may be, okay, it's not the worst thing in the world, but you want to move forward. How you navigate that initial conversation is an indication of what access should I have to your phone, should something happen to you while we are in a relationship. Because, let's say, if you're in the hospital, we're in Canada, I need to call your mom, I can't get to you, how do I get access to your family? And I'm sitting here scrambling, right?
Okay.
So those are initial conversations that I do think are relevant, is the technology policy. And that's not a phrase of mine.
No,
I'm
I've heard the phrase, but I'm just saying, you didn't mention that last week.
Absolutely. This is a phrase that's going, I want to shout the brother out, Edward Cunningham, who's an author. He has a book called Reciprocity. It's available on Amazon, so please order it. Actually, if you download it audio style, I think it's $1 or some shit like that. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me clarify this. You're saying, number one, for transparency.
Absolutely.
And number two, for the technology policy. That's what you added on today. You added that part on.
We didn't finish. They cut me off, y'all.
Well, because it just got crazy.
Yeah, of course.
The patio got crazy. What? Going through my DMs? What do you mean?
Absolutely.
What are you looking for?
That's what they do.
Oh my gosh! And it went from this person to person. It was fun though. It was great dialogue, and see, that's what I think of when I think of you, Brian. I think of a disruptor.
That's a new word for it. Yeah, I usually get asshole, but
disruptors get paid.
Well, hey, now we talking. That's my lane.
I mean, other stuff.
That's my lane.
But disruptors get paid.
Right.
And I may be like a disruptor, but I don't mean to be. I'm like an unintentional disruptor.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But you mean to be a disruptor. That's why you came in there and you threw that question, and everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
So back to what we were saying. If we're looking at number one, which was transparency. I guess you're saying that a conversation is not enough. A conversation means that I won't be honest with you. So you distrust me? Is that why you?
No, it's not about that at all. I don't think it's about distrust. I think sometimes you do have to, it's almost like me listening to you say, oh, I got a 700 credit score. But as a couple, when we go and buy a house and all of a sudden you're at 590, now we have an issue. So I think there are just certain benchmarks that every couple...
You think a DM is one of those benchmarks? That's what I'm trying to understand. Is that what you're saying?
No, well, because I do think that, for me, it's not necessarily about the DM. It is about an insight that otherwise is not going to be available in a conversation. Because one of the things that came up last week is, you may tell me the context of the DM, but if I'm looking at it myself while we're having a conversation about them, right? I'm not going to just take it and go off to the corner. We're going to sit down and look at your information so we can dig a little deeper, right? This is not something where you're going to say, well, let's go through them this Friday at 7. No, this should be a very on the fly, really spontaneous approach. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, when you can go and delete shit, you can go and say, oh, well, let me go and create this profile so you can have all of these other ways of protecting yourself. And so because people get caught up in these scenarios, I do think this is a way that you can have a layer of an insight into who you are wanting to be in a relationship with. Now, this is not my policy, right?
I know. Again, you're the disruptor.
Absolutely.
You're just disrupting, and so you got us all in a frenzy talking about this DM.
Yeah.
And I understand. I get it. However, I still think at the foundation, at the core of this, is distrust. You do not trust the person that you're with, which, and that could be rightfully so. You don't know this person. That's the whole reason why, this DM may or may not be important to you, is you don't know them. And you're trying to know them.
Exactly. That's my point.
But because you don't know them,
right,
and you're trying to know them, this, at the core of it, is distrust. I don't know you, and I think I'm going to get to know you by looking at your DM. And
it's a layer.
And again, I'm not saying that's good or bad, right or wrong. However, starting a potential relationship with the foundation being distrust,
right,
I don't know how beneficial that could be. If I know that you don't trust me at this level of our interaction, and you think by looking at my phone you're going to gain some type of insight about some type of insight about me that you couldn't gain organically. In my mind, I think you distrust me, and you haven't given me an opportunity to prove myself, or given an opportunity for you just to see who I am.
Well, there are some people who, for example, they will do a background check on you. There are some people who will hire a private investigator.
I've heard that.
There are some people who will, let's say, for example, they'll vet you through the process of, well, tell me who you know, right? And see if you have similar circles where there is some insight as well.
Right.
I think the only difference is that this is much more a peek into the secret aspect that you don't share with everybody else.
Well, and it has to be mutual. It has to be consensual. So I have to be able to give you access to it. I have to be able to, if I have a code, I have to give you the code. So it's consensual.
It is consensual.
But I'm also saying
they can say no.
Right.
They can say no.
And I'm just saying that, yes, I would feel like this is, you distrust me. There's a level of invading my privacy, and you don't know me like that. And if we get to a point where we decide, you know what, I would like to get to know you better. I would like to spend a little more time. You can do that without looking at my DM. Because I wouldn't ask you for that. I don't want to see yours.
You know what people say all the time?
I am very good at vetting. I can vet you really well without looking at your DMs.
And there are some people who are not good at vetting.
And I can understand that. And I can tell you looking at DMs ain't going to help them be a better. Because if you don't understand vetting, this is not going to help you. If anything, it's going to aggravate you. What is this? Who is she? So did you see her? What she mean? Why she always putting hearts? It's only going to aggravate you because you are not emotionally literate.
And I think that what people have to do is, number one, they have to be very mature. Because when people say you look for something, you find it.
And you do.
And you know why? Because your mind, your ego, a person's ego will manufacture all of these what ifs that have nothing to do with reality.
And I'm saying
that have everything to do with their imagination.
Yes.
So when we look at...
So you want us to be mature? So I have to be mature to be able to go through DMs? Come on, Brian.
Well, if you can't handle it, don't have the conversation. I think I think they should do everything that you just recommended. I do. But if a person needs that validation, if a person needs to be able to leverage that as an opportunity for additional insight, they need to, they should consider this as an option. They should.
And I just disagree. I just think you're setting yourself up for heartbreak. I think that if your vetting game is off, you need to find out what vetting is, look it up, Google it. There's tons of questions that can help you become a better vetter. But looking through someone's DM, I think is an invasion of privacy, and I think it sets the tone of distrust.
But you just said it was consent. So how is it an invasion of privacy if you say, okay, well let's do it here?
It is
because
consent.
There are some people that are going to have the exact same policy that you have. An open phone policy.
It is. My phone is unlocked.
Yeah.
But no one's going to ask me, Teresa, I want to read your DM so I can see who you are. If anyone ever asked me to see my DMs to see who I am, I would be offended.
Why? If you have nothing to hide, why would you be offended?
Because that's not the issue. The issue isn't what I have to hide. The issue is you don't distrust me and you think by finding out, you're going to find out who I am by looking at my phone. Get to know me.
Okay,
If you're-
that is
if-
getting to know you because it's your content.
No, it's not getting to know me.
Okay.
I disagree. I disagree that you're going to get to know me. If anything, whatever issues that you have, whatever reasons you don't trust me, this is only going to validate your distrust. That's what I think. I think if you feel like, Teresa, I really don't know who you are, and you say this,
right,
but I'm really not sure what you mean, and I just don't know. You look in here, you're going to come out, you're going to still be distrustful, you're still not going to know me, you're still not going to understand. If anything, you're going to have more questions, and you don't have the context, and I'm sitting here trying to explain to you what this means, who this is, and we could just had a conversation. I could just told you.
So in that initial conversation, one of the things that should happen with an intelligent couple, and I think we have to preface this by saying an emotionally intelligent couple.
And most.
Well, then they shouldn't have. They should
I
not
won't
be
say
having
most
these-
people.
I'm going to say most people.
You guys are intelligent. The people listening to me are highly intelligent, emotionally literate people.
Very.
So,
but
however,
right.
there's some people who are
But
not.
we're gonna so your audience will eventually be most people. So we changing the roles here. I just want y'all to know that.
Second part that you
Right.
said, which I do like, and I've had this conversation before about technology policies. I've had this conversation. Like I said, my phone is unlocked, and one of the things that I have in my phone, my husband has in my phone, my partner's having their phone is ICE, in case of emergency. So if you look in here, you're going to see an ICE, and those are the people that you can call if I fall out, God forbid, right now. You look at my phone, you will see an ICE.
Okay.
And you contact those people.
Now,
so
what does that mean? ICE.
In case of emergency.
Gotcha. So you have that as a label next to
Yes,
each.
it has a name. It has a name, and it says ICE.
Oh, that's smart.
And I have it, my husband has it, my partners have it. In case of emergency, this is who you call. So God forbid something happens, you get my phone, it's unlocked, you go to the contacts, you see your ICE, oh, this is who I need to call.
Okay. I think
And
that's
so,
very great.
but I think you saying that, I think that is something that's important. And I want to just reiterate, you're talking about a consensual, not someone picking up your phone when you go to the bathroom.
No.
This is not what we're talking about. This is you having a conversation with a potential, and you saying, hey, I want to see your DMs. I want to see what kind of person you are. I want to see, I know what you present to me when I see you, but I want to know the real you. And I think by looking through your phone, by looking through your DMs, I could ascertain that. Am I summarizing that correctly?
Absolutely. Yes.
And I call BS on that.
Who, for me?
No, on that
concept?
idea.
Yeah.
On the concept.
I did.
But I think, again, at the core of it, I see what you're saying. I understand the part about vetting someone, knowing who you're talking to, and getting past that representative. Because oftentimes you'll meet someone, you're laughing and joking, oh, hey, I like you, oh, yeah, you're cute, whatever. And they're showing you the representative. They're showing you the person that I think you want to see. You say you like to horseback riding. Oh, I like horses too.
Right.
Oh, you say you like to play tennis. Oh, I love playing tennis. You see that representative. But who are they really? Do they have a 590 credit score? And and hey, you're looking for a partner. You want a business partner, right? And so I get your idea.
Absolutely.
I just think that going through someone's, and you're right, it's not invading their privacy because you've given consent. So it's I said yes.
So who do you think is going to have a bigger issue with this, men or women?
I think that men would say men. But women,
I think women will have a bigger issue than men.
If you know what I know, you would. Yes.
I mean, if you look at the stats, women cheat more than men.
Well, we do. But again,
See?
that's not usually what we'll say. We'll say, oh, it's men, and oh, that.
Yeah. I mean, see, me, I'm a numbers guy.
Yes,
my thing
I
is
do
like
know that.
a person will sit and tell you something all day, but when you look at what the numbers say, you cannot fake 1 + 1 = 2.
No.
At the end of the day.
You can't.
So I do think that when women have a bigger issue, it's because they have something to hide. And most of what they are hiding are relationships with other men.
And that's why I said, if you want to go through this phone, it is unlocked. There's no code on it. However,
you go right on ahead, knock yourself out.
If you did, you're going to feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
You're going to feel some kind of way.
So let me ask you this question. So are you prepared if you give the guy the phone?
I wouldn't, but okay. But if I did, okay.
Are you prepared to handle his level of frustration if you know that there's something in it that's inappropriate?
And see, and I guess that's what I'm saying, Brian,
Yeah.
is that let's just deal with your frustration now. I can tell you what you're going to see. I can tell you already. I can tell you there's messages from different men. I can tell you I have relationships with people in Florida, in Canada. I can tell you that. So you don't have to go through this phone looking for that. I can be transparent and open with you and share that with you.
Absolutely.
So you don't have to go through here looking to see what me and him said yesterday, today, and this morning. Because then it's out of context. Because you just see that. You don't know what happened yesterday. You don't know what happened last week, last year. You don't know that. It's out of context. I can give you the context.
Yeah. But you're I mean, just like you said, your audience is you have a smart audience for a reason. Number one, because they follow you, and number two, because they understand the purpose of transparency.
Yes.
And I think that the reason why your message resonates with people is because they feel that way too. But just like in the comments here, you have people that are saying, "That ain't right, sis. Don't do that, sis. Don't go on my phone, sis."
But I get it. I
See?
get the reasoning why, and I also get what's the overarching idea is that, you know, being transparent, having these open and honest conversations, and not putting up these this mask, saying something and doing something. Because that's the whole reason why you want to go through my phone, because you think what I say and what I do don't match up.
Well,
potentially.
You know, and maybe it's not even about that. Maybe it is about again, learning, because it's not. But you're not going to learn. You're not going to learn a whole lot. You're not going to learn. You're going to come out feeling some type of way. Right.
You're not going to learn from me. From reading my phone? What?
Absolutely. Well, you know, there are some
learn
people,
that you're going to be upset. That's what you're going to learn.
Absolutely. Well, they got to be prepared for that. And if you are upset about that, please follow Teresa Love and Friends. She has plenty of people that can come on here like myself and tell you for $9.99 a month. Here's how you can solve all your problems.
Here's how you can solve all your problems. Thank you guys so much for listening to Teresa Love and Friends with Brian Reveals. Thank you, Brian, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. We're going to have to talk about this some more.
Yeah, absolutely. Part two.
I hope you know that, right?
Part two.
One love out. Okay.